everyone, welcome to Visits the Tavern. We have a special guest visiting us today. We have the Suplex Assassin, Alex Kane. What's going on, man?
That intro was really dope. I really liked it. I really liked that
thanks,
intro.
man.
Thank you.
All the colors and stuff, that was really dope.
We try to, I mean, I think it sets a fun tone. So we always want to do something fun to get you into it.
Kick it off right.
Don't want to do it cold,
Yeah.
So, dude, what's the experience been like wrestling for MLW?
Man, it has been. Yeah, I always tell people, like, when they ask me, like, what was my first time like there, like at the 2300 arena, like the days leading up to it, I was so nervous. Like, I was like, oh my God, like it's like the biggest like opportunity I've ever had in my life. And like I was like, man, I don't want to mess it up. Like I don't want to let anybody down. Because like to be drafted second in their open draft is huge. Because I definitely wasn't expecting to go that high. And then like to get there and like everybody's cool. It's not like it's a relaxed environment. It's not like super uptight. Because like I've been to like WWE extra stuff and it's just like you don't know like what to say, who to talk to, where to move.
Right.
So it was really chill. And then like actually like hearing my music and stepping out onto the stage, like then that is when I felt at home. Like I felt like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I've been working up to. This is where I'm supposed to be.
That's a good feeling. Yeah.
But like just like picking everybody's brains that's been doing it longer than I have, and just getting new information, new ways to do things has been great. Because I'm like a sponge. I like to absorb as much information as possible.
That's a great quality to have. Did you? The question is, when you were at the 2300 arena, did you get that picture in front of that big ECW mural like everybody does?
I took a selfie. I couldn't find anybody to take it for me, and also I kind of felt weird. Like, hey, come to the bathroom with me. Like, take this photo. But I definitely took a picture. That was one of the things that I definitely knew I had to do.
Yeah, that's a historic arena, man, to go into with MLW. That had to have a lot of weight behind it for you.
Oh, most definitely. Like I already put enough pressure on myself to like continue to have good matches and good performances. And then being in the 2200 arena also added like that much more pressure to it. But even though I put a lot of pressure on myself, I like the pressure.
So
without it, it's kind of like, ugh.
Right. If you don't have those butterflies, that's a good thing. So I'm really interested in just the process of being an independent and signing with a major promotion like MLW. Like, how does it go down? Do you put your feelers out? Do they reach out to you? Like, what was that entire process like for you?
They reached out to me. I was checking my email one day, and I was like, there's an email from Saint Laurent, and I was like, who is this man? And is this a prank? Is someone trying to prank me? Like, don't prank me. But I opened the email, and it basically said like, are you interested in wrestling for MLW? And I'm like, hell yeah, because it's like a podcast that I did. I think like a few months before that or whatever, like I said that MLW was the place I wanted to go because awesome. Like it's that the way that it's presented, it just fits my style so well. And then like for that email to come through and then to say, oh yeah, we saw your stuff on Twitter, we had to get you. I was like, okay, y'all had to get me. Okay, all right, that's dope.
You record, it makes you feel good, man.
Yeah, man. And like we talked about everything, we negotiated everything. They were really, they're really, I guess, kind of like patient with the negotiation process or whatever, because like this is the first major contract I've ever signed in my entire life. So,
right,
like it was a huge deal. I was asking like any and everybody that I knew that's ever signed a contract, anybody that's ever been in a similar situation. Like what I should do. Like I don't have a lawyer or anything, but like I have like people in my family that can read legalese and stuff like that. So I definitely got them in on it to like read everything out for me. But yeah, I signed that contract, and then the worst part about it is I had to sit on it. I couldn't tell anybody about it, and I had to wait till the open draft. It was like, oh my god, like when are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Dang.
Yeah.
Now, how long did you have to wait? How long was that period?
I think I signed in. It was a few weeks. It wasn't super long. It just felt like forever. I
Right.
think it was like. I think it might have been August, or it might have been May. It was one of the two.
Yeah. I know. I'm the kind of person when I get a Christmas present, I got to tell the person, like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like to have to sit on that.
I mean, Court Bauer, man, the brand he's building with MLW and that sports centric feel, they're doing a lot of great stuff. So like being a young guy coming up in a company that's putting out such good content, and they have some killers on that roster. Like you got to be excited at the prospect of going up against some of these guys.
Man, I'm actually wrestling Hammerstone on Friday in Cali at PCW Ultra, and I'm excited about it. I'm also like I'm trying to like think of my psychology going into it, what I should do. I mean, I'm going to suplex him, but just how I get to those suplexes is the thing, because that's a big dude, and like he's like. If I think about like all like the matches that I've had with like larger individuals, like especially one-on-one, I've had about 4, because I wrestled Logan Creed, John Davis, O'Shea, and Hammerstone will be the 4th, I believe. And like in those other matches, I was like a baby face, or like neither one of us was like baby face or heel or whatever, so that dynamic's different. But like he's definitely a baby face. This is his home promotion, PCW Ultra.
Yep.
And he's a champion almost everywhere he goes. So it's like I have it in my mind that I'm definitely gonna kick him in the nuts. I'm gonna kick him in the nuts at some point in that match. I'm gonna kick him in the nuts. After everything else, I don't know, but that is definitely gonna happen.
Might be easy to get a suplex after a nut shot.
Damn right.
Be easy to get it.
So, this Friday, PCW Ultra, Alex Hammerstone. How did the match itself come together, and what are your just thoughts on Hammerstone as an opponent?
The match came together because apparently Chris Dickinson double booked himself or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't quite believe that story. But apparently he said he double booked himself. So that is what that is. But PCW hit me up and they was like, yo, could you do me this favor and come in and wrestle Hammerstone in the main event? I was like, hell yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do that. Because I mean, I feel like even before I signed to MLW, like that was a match that I've always heard like people say like we want to see this match, and like after watching Hammerstone wrestle on MLW, it's like okay, I see why, because he also throws people. Do y'all want to see me get thrown? Okay, all right, that's cool. I'm fine with that. But he reminds me of like 80s Hogan, way better than Hogan, but like 80s Hogan's like I guess like him hulking up and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
It's quite a thing to see. But I think he's really good.
That's got to be a feather in your cap too. You're in MLW where he just beat Jacob Fatu at Fightland, and now you're going against that champ on an independent at PCW Ultra. You're going to get familiar with one of the top dogs in your home promotion.
Yeah, most def. And one day, hopefully one day soon, I wrestle him for the heavyweight title. So I already know his game.
Yeah, I mean, so what's it been like transitioning from into singles competition after being in Suplex Science?
Well, so I did transitioning back into the singles competition. I think it's been a little weird because like tag team wrestling's a little bit easier as far as you don't do as much or whatever because the effort is split between two people. And I haven't I think last Sunday was like my first singles match in a minute. So it was definitely weird trying to like put together my strategy, but I got it done. But I think going into a big match like this and haven't had too many singles matches before this because I've been tagging a bunch, it's gonna be interesting.
What was the origins of Suplex Science and what brought on your transition back into singles competition?
So Suplex Science is me and Damian Tangra, and the booker for Action, or the owner of Action, Matt Griffin. I think it was a few weeks before SCI, the Scenic City Invitational. He wanted to have like this surprise tag team match. It was me and Damian versus Brandon Williams and Daniel Makabe. And like we couldn't tell anybody, and I almost forgot about the match until like the day of, and I was like, oh shit, okay. But so like we were brainstorming names and stuff like that, and we were trying to find out like what is something cool that we could do that's not like lame or whatever. And like, so I'm the Suplex Assassin, he's the mad scientist. Suplex Science, it
fits.
It just fits. And ever since SCI, I've really just been tagging with him.
Yeah, that's I can only imagine though, going from singles, then tag team, and then back. It's just does it change the psychology for you any?
Yeah, because like when you're wrestling singles or whatever, it's you or whatever, and then when you go to tag team, it's like you got to think about a whole other person. And like you may end up doing a lot, you may end up doing way less. So yeah, I would say it definitely messes with your psychology. Like sometimes I go into matches, I'm like, okay, I throw suplexes, but what else am I gonna do? Like, what else is there to do? Like,
getting from point A to point B.
Getting to point A to point B.
So I see on your Instagram you do a lot of meal prep. So
yeah.
So like, what's one piece of advice you'd give someone about being successful with meal prepping and sticking to it?
Yeah, that's something I struggle with for sure.
Fine. A lot of people like want to jump in and like just like eat like the healthy foods. And I'm not saying eat garbage, but like find foods that you like to eat or whatever. Because like if you're trying to like just do like plain chicken and rice, it's not gonna last long. I can already tell you that it's not gonna last long.
Yeah,
you definitely need some flavor. Like I made this honey roasted garlic chicken breast or whatever. I made like 4 of them, chopped them up with some white rice. Shit's amazing. But you just got to find foods that you like. Like it just doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like your food can still have flavor. Like some bodybuilding people will tell you like it just needs to be plain chicken, but I'm just like, no.
You got to put some flavor on it, man.
No. How far are you prepping out? How many days?
It's only for a week. Like depending on my schedule, if I have like a full weekend, I'll do like 4, maybe 5 days. And then like on the weekend or whatever, I'll just eat whatever I can get to. I want to get to the point where I can prep for an entire week or whatever, even the weekend, but
yeah,
we're just not there yet.
It seems like one of those things like, obviously you're doing it bodybuilding. It's for your diet, your health, your nutrition, all of that. But it also seems like something like if you prep it out, that's just one less thing you have to worry about.
Yeah, definitely. Because like my gym sessions are normally like late at night. And like I don't want to like come home and like have to cook an entire meal.
Yeah.
So like already having like put together, I can just pop in the microwave, makes your life a lot easier. It's one less thing that you have to do every day. So that it definitely adds a little bit of calm to your life.
Yeah. It's like good time management. Like I'm going to take one day, cook for the whole week, and I can just come home, pop it in the microwave and go. So I saw that you signed with Big Starks brand,
Yup.
BSB. We had Billy Starks on the show not too long ago. How do you guys link up? How do you know Billy?
Man, I met Billy for the first time at this show in Tennessee called Revive Pro Wrestling. And it was right after the Future Showcase last year. And like I saw her like tweet out she was on her way to the show listening to Dylan Hales on some podcast talk, and he was putting me over. And she was like, I want to see how good Alex Kane actually is. Because you hear somebody talk about somebody and they're good or not or whatever, you actually got to see it for yourself.
Right.
And like I chatted with her a little bit. I actually saw Mouse there, but Mouse at the time was a little intimidating, just a little bit. Now it's just like, oh, whatever, it's Mouse. But like then it was like, I don't know, do I talk to this man? Do I not? So like after that show, whatever, she was like, okay, Alex Kane is who Dylan Hale says he is. He's actually really good. And then like I kept seeing all these like BSB knee sleeves on everybody. I'm like, what is Big Starks brand and how do I get on this? Or whatever, because it seems to have all the top people on the indies in it. I believe it was the Action show where I wrestled Logan Creed. After that match, I talked to Mouse about what it is or whatever. He basically gave me the rundown of how everything works. And he was like, you're signing the Big Starks brand today or whatever. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So take us back. We're going to go back a little bit now. Take us back to some of your early wrestling fandom. Like, who were your favorites? What were you watching growing up?
The first wrestling, like I guess like content that I consumed has to be Stone Cold's Demolition. VHS tape. It was a chronicle of Stone Cold and Kane in their first blood match. I believe it was I think it was that First Blood. Yeah, I think it was that First Blood.
Okay.
And I would just watch that over and over and over again. And then like I found out there were wrestling toys. So I got the wrestling toys and I would put together little shows and stuff like that. I'd find the entrance music online and do that. And then my older brother's best friend introduced me to WWF Warzone. So then I was playing that. And then WrestleMania 2000, then SmackDown Just Bring It. It was just it. And like I was more into the video games than I was like actually watching on television for a point in time. But I think the match that I remember the most of watching on television was Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy. I think it was Monday Night Raw.
The ladder match?
Yeah, the ladder match where Undertaker basically beat the shit out of Jeff Hardy. Yeah, he took that man's whole lunch. But like that, like I can't, like I'm not gonna be able to tell you all of what happened in the match, but like I remember that match. And I remember seeing that match and seeing Jeff Hardy come out onto the stage and be like, this is what I want to do with my life.
That's awesome. Are you still a fan today? Like, do you still consume any of the product today?
When NXT was before NXT 2.0, I would watch NXT like pay-per-views and stuff. Just the way that just the way the discourse in wrestling is now, it's just kind of like, I'll study it more than like watch it as a fan. It's just like there's just too much going on. If we ever get back to where people just watch professional wrestling and like don't shit on each other about what you're watching, I might start watching again.
Yeah, like harmony. There's no harmony in pro wrestling.
There's no
right
harmony
now.
anymore.
Wrestling Twitter, man, that's a vicious place to go.
It really is, and I'm dreading the day I ever end up on the wrong side of wrestling Twitter, and not for anything bad, nothing controversial, just like, yo, this Alex Kane kid, we're gonna need this motherfucker to do something different because these suplexes getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough place, man. It's a war zone out there.
Yeah. So what made you decide, you're playing the games, you've got the toys, making your own feds, playing the music, watching that Hardy Undertaker. Was there a moment where you kind of decided, I don't want to just be a fan, I want to start training?
Well, actually, there was a point in time where I was like, I'm not going to do this because I don't think it's attainable as I once thought as a kid. So there was a point in time where I was like, nah, I'm not going to do this. Whatever. I'm just going to work a normal job and just be a normal human being. And I went to college. I didn't graduate, but I went or whatever. I gave it a try. Wasn't for me. And I believe it was in like because I dropped out and then I went back, and then I was sitting in the last class that I ever went to, and I was looking up wrestling schools around me, and like I found the WWA4 website, and like I clicked on Austin Theory or whatever, and I start going through his Instagram page or whatever. And I'm like, why isn't this dude already on television? Like,
Right.
but like, because I think this had to be like not early 2018, but sometime in 2018. And like I was just like scrolling through that, and I'm like, well, if the WWA4 is producing people who look like this, I'm going to the WWA4. And like I didn't exactly know who AR Fox was before that, but like then I went and looked up like who he was, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing this. We're doing this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I went to the school that day, and like I was just like trying to inquire about some information. And Fox was way cooler than I thought he was gonna be. Like he was like super freaking humble. Yeah, he sat down, he talked to me, he told me like what the price and stuff was gonna be, how training was gonna be. He answered any of my questions. And like I took I took like the sheet and stuff to fill out and stuff like that. I took that home, and then I want to say I went to the Thursday night show that week, and then the following week I signed up.
Oh, wow. So that's wild. So you're sitting in a college classroom researching where's the schools. You see this one, you go there the same day. Like, that's wild. Like, that's one of those life-changing decisions. Was this something that you were rolling in your head for maybe days, thinking about it, considering it?
Yeah, I was like, because like I was rolling it around in my head until I actually debuted. Because I'm like, is this really what I should do? Is this really what I should do? And like when I actually debuted, like after the match, like Fox was like this, because I'd always told him like I don't know if this is like an attainable dream, because like there were a lot of guys there at the school or whatever who are really good, but like they weren't like progressing anywhere fast. And I thought I was going to get caught in that same like cycle of just working the same shows over and over and over again.
Right.
But after that match with Fox was like, this is just as attainable as getting a college degree or whatever. Like you can do this shit. You have a shot or whatever. You just got to do the right things, stay on the right path or whatever, and you will get to wherever you're shooting to go, you're going to get to. And I took that to heart.
That sounds like a good trainer, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of gives you a sense of hope. Like it's not just this unattainable goal.
Yeah. Like Fox eats, sleeps, breathes wrestling, you know, like he doesn't watch. If he's not watching wrestling, he's probably watching like something true crimes-y because he's weird. But if it's not that, it's wrestling. So like I remember when I started, he was like, in order to get really good at this, you got to become obsessed with it or whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean obsessed? That sounds a little cuckoo. But he was like, you just got to like watch wrestling, like watch everything. So like when I started doing that, I stopped watching like regular television. I stopped watching sports and stuff like that. It was just wrestling. And I'm gonna say that really did help out. It made everything a lot easier. It made understanding the structure of a match, like where to put things where or whatever, it all started to make way more sense. I'd still be a nervous wreck before a match, but it made everything make more sense.
So when you're rolling this around in your head before you make that decision in that college classroom and go to the training place, like, are you bouncing this thought off of people, and is anyone giving you advice, like, or is this something you're kind of internalizing for yourself?
No, I mean, I've literally told, like, especially being in high school, middle school, high school, literally told anybody that would listen I was going to be a professional wrestler. Like,
Yeah.
My parents knew this. They knew at some point I was going to pursue it.
Yeah.
They just didn't know when. And like anybody that I told, like, they were like, I could definitely see you doing that. I never gotten any like bad feedback. Like, oh, the only time I ever got bad feedback, and it wasn't when I was in college. I think I was in like the 6th grade, and I think I met the Shockmaster one day at like a hospital or whatever, and he was like, "Don't go into professional wrestling; it's terrible."
Really?
Da, da, da. So that was like the only. I think he was a Shockmaster. I don't know. He said he was in WCW, and he was a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
So like that was the only time I ever got like anybody telling me like not to do it. But other than that, everybody was telling me like, "Yo, you should pursue this. Like you should do this. I can see you doing this."
Right.
So yeah, it definitely wasn't something I was going to internalize, because I would have drove myself crazy, because I'm already in my head a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a crazy feeling, man. Like you go just, 2018 wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And you make this decision, you kind of go break bread with AR Fox, and he gives you this hope of like, hey, this is attainable. And now you're signed with MLW. How, like, do you sit and think about like, man, he was right. Like, here I am, I'm with a major promotion and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, like I think I want to say last year I started getting into more like manifesting things and stuff. And like I literally wrote down on a piece of paper that's in my sock drawer now, that I look at every now and again. Like one of the main goals in there was get signed to a major promotion. Because like I kind of felt like I was starting to blow up then, and like I could kind of feel where the trajectory was going, and like almost anybody that was around me, like any like the older guys, whatever, you're going to get signed, you're going to get signed, you're going to get signed. But it's like, when is this going to happen? This is going to happen in 5, 6, 7 years. This is going to happen in 1 or 2. It ended up happening in 1 or 2, but still, it was pretty insane. And like I remember after I signed and I was reading it, like I started to cry. Like I was like, I did this. I'm getting goosebumps right now, but I manifested this. Like I made this happen. Like I put in the work and I made this happen.
Yeah, that there's no better feeling, man, than setting a goal and being at the bottom where everything seems so uncertain and like you don't know what's going to play out. All you can do is go in and do the work, and then you reach that goal. I mean, it gives me chill bumps hearing you tell that story.
Man, and like there's so many young guys at the A4 Air Fox's school, and like they all look up to me, and like I mean that's an honor within itself. But like I continue to tell those guys, because like I continue to tell them like anything is possible. Like if you put your mind to it, like I know a lot of people say anything is possible, but like if you put the work in and you continue to put yourself in the correct positions, especially in professional wrestling, like this shit is possible. Like because like first starting out, like nobody told me like how to get booked. Like I remember asking people, how do I get booked? How do I get booked? How do I get booked? Or like how do I talk to promoters and stuff like that? And like everybody would give me like these like weird ass answers, but no one would ever be straight with me.
Yeah.
And like now that I kind of like see like how things work, like if you're working at places that you work at places that matter, and it's not, I mean, every place matters to a degree, but like when I say like places that matter, places that have fan bases, places that have like social media activity, places
Right.
that people other people that are trying to get to the next level or trying to go.
Right.
Like this is how you like increase your stock. So that's why I keep telling these younger guys coming up, so they don't like waste their time running in a promotion that doesn't even film their show, so they don't even get any footage, or that doesn't like take being a wrestling promotion seriously.
Right.
So they continue to go to places, or even follow in my footsteps or whatever, and come to places that I've gone to or the places that I'm going. So that they can reach their goals a little bit faster than normal.
Right. So what's some of your, let's step outside of wrestling for a second. What's some of your passions or shit you just enjoy when you're winding down and relaxing and has absolutely nothing to do with pro wrestling? Like what do you enjoy to do?
I like playing video games, and then like watching either like movies or like new like TV show series with my girlfriend. Like right now we're watching Married at First Sight. That show's insane. It's a crazy concept to just get married to somebody.
That is wild.
That is wild, man.
These are having to tell your family like, yo, so I told you I was gonna get married, but I don't even know this person or anything like that. It's just an experiment. We're gonna see what happens. And there always comes that point where like, was this a mistake? I'm always like, no, it wasn't. I don't think it was a mistake or whatever. I just think it was a risk, and like, you just gotta see how that risk plays out.
It's a high risk, high reward situation.
Yeah, it really is.
What's some movies you guys have checked out that you enjoy?
We just saw Venom last week.
Was it pretty good? I haven't saw that one yet.
It wasn't better than the first one.
Okay.
The first one was a lot funnier. Because I know it like it being in the theater, like I saw people bring their kids and I'm like, this is not a kids movie.
Right.
At all. This is not a kids movie. But like it was funny.
Carnage was the villain in that, right?
Yeah. Carnage was definitely the villain in that one. And to like see how Carnage comes to be or whatever in that show, like he pulls Eddie Brock in and like bites him or whatever, and then like he gets some Eddie Brock's blood on the. If I'm spoiling.
Oh no, dude, yeah.
Oh,
if they haven't seen it, their problem.
He gets some blood on like the side of his mouth, and it's like I guess like mixes
with his blood and takes over his body.
His blood, and it's like, ooh, okay.
You watch a lot of comic book movies?
From time to time. I'm not huge on it, but like if I hear a good review about a show, about a movie or whatever, I'm gonna watch it. But like, am I watching every single comic book movie? No.
Same.
Also Squid Game. If you haven't seen that, you should watch that.
It's on my list on Netflix to watch.
I mainly like it because it's a critique on capitalism. So I'm into that shit. So that's why I was like, yo, this is fire or whatever. And the fact that it took the creator of the show, like 10 years to get anybody to buy it. And then somebody buys it. And then it's like the highest grossing show in Netflix history.
It blew up. I mean, the trailer looks phenomenal. It looks very original.
Yeah, it's nuts. And like the things that you learn about it, like just going throughout it, like you definitely have to go back and watch it again, which I plan on doing. But like the things that you learn, like by the end of it, it's like,
yeah.
But I highly recommend it.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So correct me if I'm wrong though. You had a tryout with NXT.
No, I did not have a tryout with NXT.
Okay,
I saw a photo on your. You were there though, right?
Yeah, I went and did extra work.
Okay, yeah.
Gotcha. Did extra work.
What was that experience like?
It was cool being able to like be there at NXT, but like it was way too like
buttoned up.
it was way too buttoned up. Like there was literally like no time to like really relax or
Yeah.
whatever and like enjoy being there. It was just too like it was too stiff. Like especially with NXT, like you're sitting in this like college auditorium, like classroom type deal, watching the show. So like being able to see like what they do like during commercial break. That's when they get all their curse words out, which is funny. Like on screen they have a lot of fun, but just like being around like all like the other like superstars and stuff, like it almost like when I was there, like almost had this feeling like either like they don't give a damn that you're here and they think that they're better than you or whatever, and it's just like nah.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy. EJ and Duca or whatever, like he was there when I was there or whatever.
Okay.
And like, I mean, he seemed like he was cool, but like again, like I didn't know like who to talk. Literally the only person I knew there was Theory. That was it.
Yeah.
And I barely even talked to him because he was all in another zone. But like now being with some MLW and him being there and like actually like being able to talk to this man or whatever is nuts in my own mind. It's like I saw you get signed to NXT, I saw you do all these things or whatever, and now now like I talk to you on the regular.
Right. Right.
That's wild, man.
So in your short career, are there any like particular opponents or matches that you've had that stick out to you, where you feel like you really got pushed to your limits, or maybe you learned something about yourself that you still carry with you?
My match with O'Shea Edwards, it's the match where like he kind of passed the torch to me, which is the beads that I wear. And like I didn't know that moment was going to happen. He just told me like while we were kind of putting the match together, like I'm going to make you wrestle at that next level. And that shit was tough. That it was definitely tough. Like they always talk about like switching gears and like you sometime like before that I didn't really know what that was. And I thought it was like me yelling or something or like a certain action, but it's like a pace change. And it doesn't always last for a long ass time, but it's like you kind of like feel it in the air, you kind of feel it with the crowd and like the rhythm of the match. But like after the match, like I didn't like, yeah, I won, but I don't really care. I'm one of those guys where I don't really care about the wins and losses. I'm worried about what's happening bell to bell.
Right.
But that match was kind of emotional for me. And like I could definitely feel that next level. And then like we kind of like we hugged and embraced or whatever. It was like fighting your older brother or whatever. Essentially, that's kind of what the match was like. It was like fighting my older brother. But like, yeah, that match I will always hold near and dear to my heart.
That's awesome, man. So what are your goals over the next 3 years?
Oh,
yeah. What's on that manifest card in your sock drawer now?
Build an awesome but relatable like fight team within MLW, with me and Mo, and hopefully like bring in some like other people to my team or whatever, and dominate. Winning the national openweight championship is definitely on that list. And also wrestling like overseas is like that's at the top of my list. I just got my passport, so that's the top of my list.
So I gotta ask, because I'm such a big fan of the guy. What's it like working with King Mo?
King Mo is literally like the uncle I always wanted. Like he's so like he's just so cool. He's got like he's for not being. I mean, he's been in professional wrestling for a little bit, but like for not being like the traditional professional wrestler, like he's got a lot of ideas when it comes to professional wrestling. We play our chemistry is insane. We play off of each other really well. He's just all in all a joy to be around.
Yeah, some of his matches back in, when he was in MMA and he was fighting, Strike Force. I mean, this such a charismatic guy.
Yep.
And that's got to rub off on you, being around
definitely
charisma like that.
Like in my debut match, like going and watching it back, and like I'm in there beating the crap out of Bud Heavy, and Mo's in the camera like, you know what time it is, and he got the suplex count. It's like, that's 2, baby, that's 2. And like I've had other managers before who would just kind of just like be there, but like he's actually like involved in the match. Like he's like, yo, he's like sparking orders and stuff like that. Like, yo, do that again. Yo, that was cool or whatever, stuff like that. So that was, yeah.
That's fun, man.
I wish I could have Mo on the indies, but I know that nobody's going to pay him what he needs to be paid.
Yeah. So for those who may not know, any of the listeners out there, who is Alex Kane?
Alex Kane is most of the time I hate this question, but I'm gonna answer it to the best of my ability, because sometimes I don't even know who Alex Kane is. To sum it up completely, is Alex Kane, regardless of like the role he's playing or whatever, because like I don't like to be put in the box of babyface or heel or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just always say that I'm Alex Kane and I do what the fuck I want to do. And essentially that's what I do, because like I could do all the dirty shit in the fucking world or whatever. But once I get to tossing motherfuckers, it's like, we like this guy. This guy's cool. And it's like I'm always gonna like I'm a big guy, but like I'm not considered like big like a Hammerstone or a fucking Logan Creed or a Mads Kruger. But like regardless of the role, I'm somebody you can root for, because it's like, yeah, like a guy if I was like Hammerstone size, like me throwing people around wouldn't be as impressive, I don't think. But me being like on the smaller end of the big guys in this industry or whatever, it's like you see me toss a motherfucker through the air, no matter what the size is. It's like,
yep,
dude,
this dude is real.
Right. Yeah. You come from a long line. When I think of Alex Kane, I'm thinking of the Tazes. I'm thinking of the Jeff Cobbs. I'm thinking of those dudes that will snatch you up and toss you on your fucking head. Like that's the school that I think you come from, man, is those Tazes and those Jeff Cobbs.
It's funny if you say Taz. I was wrestling a show, I want to say like a month or two ago. And the commentator literally said, "I'm this generation's Taz," and I was like, "I'm gonna take it."
Hell yeah,
I'm gonna take that.
That's high praise, man.
Yeah,
for a suplex assassin, that's high praise.
Most definitely. I still want to meet Taz. I often wonder if he even knows who I am. Probably not. But it'd be cool to meet him and pick his brain a little bit.
All right, man. So I know you don't normally like that question, but we like to end on a fun question for you. So our last question is, you're in a car, you're making towns. What 3 wrestlers do you have in that car making towns with you, alive or dead?
Oh, like a dream car making towns?
Dream car ride. You could have any 3 in that car with you. What 3 are riding with you?
Randy Orton.
Ooh. The Viper.
Eddie Guerrero.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And Kurt Angle.
Oh
yeah.
Angle. That's another one, man. He likes him some suplexes too.
Yeah, man. So for everybody that doesn't know where to follow you, let everybody know where they can find you, man.
On Twitter, you can follow me at Alex_Kane11. Instagram is the Suplex Assassin. TikTok is the Suplex Assassin 1. I'm funny. I'm hilarious. Follow me on TikTok. I'm hilarious. ProWrestlingTees.com is where my merch is. I may have to move it from there from some of the things that I've heard in the Twitterverse. But we shall actually see if any of those things are true. YouTube is just Alex Kane. I normally type in Alex Kane wrestler to like find myself because there's apparently a musical artist. There's a few like authors and like politicians. It's just weird. It's strange.
But there's only one real Alex.
There's
Kane.
only one real Alex Kane. Yeah, me.
Yep.
I beat all the other Alex Kanes up.
They don't want none.
Well, thank you so much, dude, for doing this. We had a blast talking to you.
Absolutely, dude.
Good luck in your match this Friday, PCW Ultra, going against Alex Hammerstone. It's going to be a hell of a
for
match.
The championship.
For the title.
Man.
For the title. Going to come back to Suplex Island with the belt.
I love it. I love it.
You can stop by and show it off if you want, man. We'll always have you.
Yeah.
Most
All right.
def.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too, man.